Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing this makeup look, which is mostly using a lot of Makeup Revolution products. I'm also going to be talking about a couple of the products that I use, my thoughts on them, my thoughts on the brand as a whole. And yeah, if you like to see how I created this makeup look, then please keep watching. So I'm mostly going to be using Makeup Revolution stuff, and I definitely want to test out this Fast Base stick foundation. I feel like with most stick foundations I'm not really a fan of them because they tend to be quite heavy coverage. Also they kind of crease a lot and feel a bit greasy and get a bit shiny, especially with me with combination skin. The two Makeup Revolution base products I'm going to be using are the Fast Base in F8 and then also the Conceal and Define in C8. And lately I've been favouring the method where I put a primer on my eyelids first because this will never fail me and it stops my eyeshadow from creasing. And then I kind of do my base, kind of go over my eyelid area with my base, whatever's left on the sponge, and then I do my eyeshadows. It kind of like changes. I just switch up depending on what the look is or what I'm experimenting with. So I'm just going to use this Primark brush. I just realised that one of my lights went on, so that's why I was a bit in the dark. Now that I have my eyes primed, I'm going to go and prime my face because I do feel like with the Fast Base foundation I'm going to need a bit of priming. So I'm going to use NYX Total Control Drop Primer. It's meant to help with oil control and stuff. Hopefully that should help with this tutorial. I think I'm just going to put it on my fingertips like that and kind of rub it together and just put it around my nose area really, and maybe around my forehead a bit too. Now that my face and my eyes are primed, I'm going to go in with the Fast Base Stick Foundation for Makeup Revolution. And I chose the shade F8 because I felt like out of the concealers that I tried that came out before this foundation, C8 was probably the closest to my skin tone, even though it wasn't as olive as I'd like it to be or as yellow as I'd like it to be, but it was the closest. So how it works is you choose the foundation that's closest to your concealer shade, and I chose F8. Ooh. So like with most stick foundations, it will accentuate any texture on your skin. So this is why I prefer to kind of use liquid foundations. But I'm just gonna go in hard with it. I'm just gonna blend it with my Illamasqua highlighter brush, which kind of is my favourite to kind of use. Okay, coverage wise, it's obviously very heavy coverage. And that's because I kind of went ham on it. It isn't as warm toned as I'd like it to be, but I'm going to see if I can make it work. Next I'm going to use the C8 concealer, and like I said, it's not my exact match that I prefer for a concealer, but it's the closest out of the range and they are supposed to be releasing more. I do love this concealer so far from what I've tried of it. I'm just going to quickly set this with the Makeup Revolution Banana Powder, which personally I haven't had great experience with, but I've taken out for this video to kind of use as many Makeup Revolution products as possible. But I feel like it gives me a dark cast under my eyes, which is kind of the opposite of what I'm going for. And then I'm going to dab the excess on my eyelids. I'm going to use the LA Girl Shady Slim Brow Pencil. I'm just going to brush out my brows first. And then I'm going to clean up my brows with the Conceal and Define Concealer. Next I'm going to go in with the Iconic Fever palette, and I'm just going to go over with this shade here, adding it above my crease. So it's just like a hint darker than my natural eyelid colour. I think I might go in with this sort of tanny olive colour. I'm going to take the 217 brush and use that kind of brownie shade in the corner. And I'm going to add it to the outer corner of my eye and just blend it a bit. Next I'm going to take the star of the show, which is this Flawless Foil eyeshadow in the shade Retreat. It's like a greeny olive golden colour, and I'm going to use my finger to apply it. It's a very squidgy texture. It's kind of a wet formula. Feels like a bit cool to the touch, but I feel like with the fingers it works best. When you use these eyeshadows and you're using it with your finger or even with a brush, it's best to kind of sweep along and you get more of a foiled look on the eyelid. And then as I get closer to my crease, I kind of just dab the excess left from my finger. It does come with a intensifying primer, which is kind of like an oil. That's the shade Retreat without the primer, and then with the primer I feel like it kind of shears it out a bit more. It is looking a bit crazy right now, so what I'm going to do is go in with the brown shade and with the 217 brush on the outer corner of the eye and kind of blend into the crease and upwards, and then going in with a Sigma brush and just cleaning that up. And then I'm going to go in with the Inglot gel liner. Then I'm going to take this Scandalized eye pencil in the shade brown and just go on my bottom lash line. Then before it sets, use your finger to just kind of blend out that eyeliner shade. I can't find my Rimmel one, but Rimmel do have a nude pencil like this Urban Decay one. And then what I'm going to further do is just go in with a small detailer brush, the Morphe M506. And I'm going to go in with that corner shade again and just lightly kind of smoke out the bottom a bit. To further intensify the crease, I'm going to go in with that dark colour there and just intensify from there. Just defines the eye a bit more from the point of your eyeliner. And then you blend that out. And next I'm using this Maybelline mascara, which usually works great on a day-to-day basis, but I feel like I might need lashes with this heavy eyeliner look. Bring some warmth back to my face, and I think I'm going to use this shade from the NYX palette. And just go in with my contour. And then I'm going to use a bit of that banana shade from the NYX palette and just kind of go over the areas that I feel I want to kind of brighten. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution liquid highlighter. I do prefer the Nip and Fab one, if I'm honest, because it's less metallic, but I'm going to use it for the purpose of this tutorial to kind of keep it as one brand as possible, just in case you want to spend within one brand. Spread it out a bit till it looks like that, and then I like to take my beauty sponge and dab 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 on the back of my hand until it's a bit blended, and then I kind of dab lightly on the top of my cheekbones. It's kind of more the natural side, which I prefer, and it brings back a bit of life to the skin where it looks a bit too matte sometimes. And then I'm also going to use something that is kind of a bit new, the Mochi highlighter palette, and I'm going to use this shade here. And then last but not least, I am going to use the Retro Luxe Matte Lip Kit in the shade Noble. And I've noticed that with a lot of Makeup Revolution products, the outer packaging doesn't seem to match the inside. So just be wary of that if you're like shopping in Superdrug and you don't know what shade, or you're trying to go by that shade, because it does not look anything like that shade. Like that looks like a kind of olivey brown to me, but if I show you what Noble looks like inside, like those two don't look the same to me. But yeah, what I find with Makeup Revolution is best to definitely go for swatches rather than looking at the packaging in Superdrug, for example. So this is what I'm going to be using. These are the newer Makeup Revolution lip pencils, and I have swatched them over on my Instagram, but I personally prefer the formula of these ones in the lip kit. I love this shade in Noble. It kind of is like a trendsetter kind of colour. That is like my favourite kind of nude. It's not really a nude, but it's my favourite kind of rusty nude. One thing that I've noticed again with the Makeup Revolution matte lip kits is they don't fully correspond to the lip liner. So if I just show you, this lip liner is kind of a bit more on the orangey side, and this is kind of more on the peachy side. They're not exactly the same shades when you get the lipstick and the lip liner together. The applicator is kind of bent, so I'm not really sure what that's about, but Makeup Revolution will obviously fix that hopefully. So I'm going to wait for that to dry down, and in the meantime I'm going to get some lashes on. I'm going to use these Eldora lashes, which are the ones in the middle. The top are Ardell and the bottom are some eBay ones that I found, so they're in a blog post I did actually, so you can check that out. I'm going to use this duo brush on glue because it is iridescent, and iridescent glues are the best glues in my opinion. If you watch my Get Ready With Me with Aisha Begum, you'll know that I love iridescent glue. They're very sticky and they kind of just last longer on my awkward shaped eyes. So yeah, this is my kind of affordable makeup look, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I'm going to give a couple pros and cons to a couple products that I've used in this makeup look and also in general from Makeup Revolution. And I have to say that my least favourite is probably actually the Fast Base foundation, because the colour isn't completely in line with my shade, although it's workable. The coverage is a bit too much, and I feel like it kind of does accentuate my flaws or like my imperfections a bit more, which I'm not really keen on, and it does settle in lines if you obviously use it a bit heavily. I don't know if you can see, but like there's lines across my forehead, there's a bit of like texture on my forehead as well. Since I've had my son, I've had a bit of texture on my skin, which I never had before. Also, my pores are a bit more visible, even though I did use a primer with this foundation. So this one's probably my least favourite Makeup Revolution product in this. In terms of if you have flawless skin already, or if you really love full coverage or stick foundations, then obviously this is a very affordable option. The star of this tutorial is definitely the Flawless Finish eye foil. It is very pigmented. It is super shiny. We have the shade Retreat here, which is the shade that I'm wearing on my eyelids right now. And then we have the rose gold shade, which is called Rebound. And then we have this shade, which is called Overcome. So yeah, these are the swatches of my 3 favourite shades out of the range, but I do have all of the swatches up on my Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, then you really need to, because I'm way more active on there out of all my social media platforms. But I definitely would recommend these because they're, again, very affordable, really good quality if you know how to use it, especially if you like kind of to go all out with your eyeshadow like this. The Conceal and Define Concealer is supposed to be like a dupe of the Tarte Shape Tape, which I've not tried yet, but I really do like it. Like, I love the consistency of it and I love the coverage of it. So even though it's not exactly the shade that I would choose for a concealer, like I prefer the Maybelline Nude, which has a bit of an oliveness to it, it still is workable, and this is the shade C8. The eyeshadow that I've used today is much better than the palette that I used back in 2014, and generally they've just been duping a whole bunch of other high-end brands, which is what they're kind of known for. I recently picked up this Iconic Fever eyeshadow palette, which looks like this, and I have to say the shades are amazing, the pigmentation's amazing. If I just show you, it's definitely quite pigmented, and if I just show you some of the shimmers as well, so that gets full marks from me as well. These are meant to be like dupes of the Cover FX liquid highlighting drops, and I don't know, I can't really compare, but I do have an Iconic London one and it's pretty similar to that in terms of it's quite metallic. The banana powder surprisingly isn't looking too dark under my eyes, maybe because I put the highlighter around that area to kind of bring that life back to my skin, but I don't generally like the banana powder because I don't wear the Ben Nye one either anymore. I prefer the Laura Mercier translucent, so if they make a dupe of that, I'm all over it. But yeah, overall I'm quite impressed with the quality of their products. They're very inclusive with their range, they're very affordable, they've got so many dupes of so many high-end brands. This matte lip kit is supposed to be like a Kylie sort of dupe. It's actually better in a lot more ways than the Kylie lip kits, but the only problem is with Makeup Revolution, I find a lot of discrepancies between their packaging and actual products. So for example, this is the shade Noble, and that's the shade that it looks like in the packaging, but it's actually this colour that I'm wearing on my lips, so it doesn't look anything like that in my opinion, or that at the top there. So it is definitely more the colour that you get on the end of the pencil. So just bear that in mind if you are shopping within Superdrug, because it's not actually that shade. You want to check the swatches if they are available online, or if you see any tutorials using it, then make a note of the shade, because it won't be the shade that's on the packaging. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Makeup Revolution products that I use in this makeup look and in general as well. They're on a roll when it comes to releasing products. They are very on trend. They're just churning out all these products that are actually really amazing quality for the price that you pay. So many shade ranges for like their concealers and also their foundations, so it's definitely worth checking out, and it's so affordable as well. So I'm happy that there's a brand like this on the market. Yeah, like overall I think they're just killing it right now. So if you want to see more videos where I kind of do a chatty talk through like this, then obviously let me know. I'd love to know what you guys think of the brand as well. Please do comment below and let me know what you think of certain products, how it works for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then give it a thumbs up, and obviously subscribe, share with your friends if you want. So until next time. Oh, that is quite bright, isn't it? Don't ping off, don't. Oh. Yes, transfer proof.